The first time she did it, I didn't think much about it. We were standing in a dealership showroom, surrounded by polished cars and overly enthusiastic salesmen. The decision wasn't complicated. We had already narrowed it down to two models. She studied both for a moment, then pulled out her phone. "Let me ask Daniel," she said. I assumed she meant something practical. Maybe he knew about engines or financing. People ask friends for advice all the time. She stepped a few feet away, spoke quietly for a minute, then returned. "We'll take the gray one," she told the salesman. I remember nodding like it made perfect sense, like the decision had come from somewhere normal. At the time, I didn't even ask who Daniel really was to our marriage. The second time was at a restaurant. We were sitting at the table looking at menus, when she frowned slightly and checked her phone again. A quick message, a pause. Then she closed the menu. "He says the salmon here is better," she said. "Who does?" I asked, though I already knew. "Daniel." She said his name casually, like it had always belonged in our conversations. Again, I let it pass. Marriage is full of small adjustments. You don't question every odd moment. Most of the time, you assume things will balance themselves out. But the pattern didn't stop. When she came home with lighter hair one evening, she told me Daniel thought the color would suit her. When we planned a weekend trip, she paused halfway through booking the hotel to ask Daniel what part of the city was best. Even when we argued about something simple, where to spend a holiday or which furniture to buy, she would drift toward the same solution. "I'll check with him." At first, I told myself it wasn't personal. Maybe she just trusted his judgment. Some people rely on others when they struggle with decisions. But gradually something quieter started bothering me. It wasn't that another man had opinions. It was that our marriage seemed to wait for them. I noticed how often she looked at her phone before agreeing to anything. How quickly our conversations stalled until she had confirmed something. Over time, I stopped challenging it. Not out of patience, out of curiosity. What happens to a relationship when its decisions stop coming from inside it? The answer revealed itself slowly. Plans took longer to make. Conversations lost their direction. Even simple choices, where to eat, which movie to watch, began drifting into these strange pauses where she waited for input that wasn't present in the room. I think she noticed the silence between us, but she never quite understood why it was there. Eventually, the distance turned into something more practical. We started talking about divorce, not dramatically. No shouting, no accusations. Just a slow, honest realization that the shape of our marriage had changed into something neither of us recognized. We sat across from each other in a lawyer's office one afternoon, reviewing paperwork. The lawyer asked a basic question about how we wanted to divide certain assets. My wife hesitated. It was the same hesitation I had seen dozens of times before. Her eyes dropped toward her phone like a reflex. For the first time in months, I spoke before she could reach for it. "You should ask Daniel," I said calmly. The lawyer looked up. My wife blinked, unsure if I was joking, but I wasn't smiling. "If you've trusted his advice this long," I added quietly, "it probably makes sense to hear what he thinks about this too." The room became very still. After a moment, she actually picked up her phone. "I'll step outside," she said. No one stopped her. Through the office window, I could see her standing in the hallway, speaking softly into the phone. She gestured once, pacing slowly like she was trying to explain something complicated. It took longer than I expected. 10 minutes passed. Then she came back inside. Something about her expression had changed. Not dramatically, just subtly. Like someone who had opened a door expecting answers and found an empty room. "Well?" the lawyer asked gently. She sat down. "He doesn't want to get involved," she said. The words floated in the room for a moment. For years, Daniel had opinions about our car, her hair, our vacations, our dinners. But when the question became real, when it involved consequences and responsibility, his voice disappeared. No advice, no direction, just silence. The paperwork continued after that. We signed what needed to be signed, discussed the remaining details. The lawyer maintained his careful professionalism. There was no argument between us, no final dramatic moment. When everything was finished, we walked out of the building together. The air outside was cool and quiet. She looked at me like she wanted to say something, but nothing came. Maybe she was thinking about that phone call. Maybe she was realizing how many choices had once depended on a voice that no longer spoke. I wasn't angry. Strangely, I felt calm. Our marriage hadn't ended because of another man. It had ended because somewhere along the way, decisions stopped belonging to us. And when the moment finally came that truly mattered, the person she had trusted to guide them simply chose not to. That silence, more than anything else, was the answer we had both been waiting for.